Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Everything Good podcast. I'm so happy to have y'all back. I'm so happy and honored to do God's work. I feel honored that He sees me worthy enough to use. I got some good feedback about last week's episode. Just that, those words made people reevaluate their goals and their alignment with God. And so that's the whole point of all of this. That is the whole point of everything good. He has made us and He calls us good. He created us and He said that it was good. And so that's all we're striving for, is to be a good and faithful servant. And that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. But before we dive into it, let's talk about what is your current life soundtrack? So my current life soundtrack, it doesn't describe my life right now. It doesn't even describe my mood, but it has been stuck in my head this week. And it's Aretha Franklin's Say a Little Prayer for You. Shout out to my granny, Barbara Jean, who put me on Aretha Franklin, Al Green, all of them. Yes, I'm a 90s kind of girl, but I do listen to the old school stuff. And so say a little prayer for you. Every day I wake up, before I put on my makeup, I say a little prayer for you. Okay. Oh, y'all just let me find out just a little bit. But no, it's been stuck in my head, like that same part. So that's probably my little current soundtrack, life soundtrack right now. Share yours in the comments. Last week you guys shared yours and it was fun, just kind of hearing where we are, what's in our head, how we're feeling, what's going on in our life through music. And so it's just a fun way to kind of interact. So share, what's your life soundtrack right now? Um, as we get into today's topic this week, I want to just tackle spiritual gifts and tap into stirring up the gift, what that means, what our spiritual gifts should be used for, just to address some things that culture makes us think and do that contradicts what God wants us to do with our gifts. And so that's kind of what I'm going to be talking about today. It's going to come from First Corinthians 12, verses 4 through 6, and it reads, there are different kinds of gifts, but the same Spirit distributes them. There are different kinds of service, but the same Lord. There are different kinds of working, but in all of them and in everyone, it is the same God at work. And so that's what I want to talk about today. Like, all the different gifts and talents that are in this world, the way God created us in His image, and the gifts and talents that we all have are little pieces of reflections of Him scattered throughout the earth. And so we need to tap into that. We need to make sure that we are doing the things that God has created us and called us to do, and making sure that we stand in our own lanes, that we not diving into somebody else's lane, and that we are being committed to the part of God's image that He created us to be. The first point I want to bring up is to be clear that our gifts are used to serve God in His kingdom. Like, let's be very clear about that. Yes, we find enjoyment in our gifts. Yes, our gifts can spring up other things and provide different opportunities on this while we're on this earth. But our sole purpose for our gifts are to be used to glorify and honor God, and that's through helping His people, serving Him through serving His people. And I think a lot of times, our culture, especially right now, I know in America for sure, our culture is kind of teaching us that we should be using our gifts for success and for gain. And while that can happen, but that is the blessing that comes with using your gift. That should not be your driving point in behind using your gift. We are all created. Our sole purpose is to serve God. Our sole purpose is to worship God. And we are all on the same assignment to gather as many souls as we can to the kingdom through discipleship. Okay, so everybody has the same purpose. It's not this one big grand, this is my life's purpose that we kind of see all the time. We all have the same purpose, and that is to glorify God and speak of Him and His goodness and win souls into the kingdom. That is our purpose. How we go about doing that, the places that we go about doing that, looks different because we all have different spiritual gifts. So we're all in different places. We're all doing different things. We're all surrounded in different circles. We meet different people. We're in different parts of the earth. And so how we go about doing that purpose looks different. And we do that through our assignment being our gifts and talents and things that He has equipped us to do. And so I just want to encourage you that wherever you are and whatever you're doing, that you know what your gifts are and that the spaces that you're in, that you use those spaces to be the salt of the earth, to be the light, so that when people look at you and look at me, they'll be like, it's something different about them. It's something great. I want that. What is that? And it should lead them back to our Father. What I do notice in today's culture is that we have this through, and I think it's because social media, social media is a great thing when used correctly, but it can also hinder and skew our perception of life. And so, what I'm noticing is that through social media, you have people that are operating in their gifts in an amazing way, right? And it's great to be an inspiration. It's great to spark interest. You may see someone operating in their gift, and let's say that, someone is a hairstylist and someone is watching them do hair and they're inspired by that. It's tapping into a gift that they already have, right? It's speaking to that gift already within them. So they go and they work hard and say, I want to do that. And it's speaking to something that's already inside of me. Great. But there's this other end where people see people doing things on social media and they say, I want to do that. And that is not their assignment. That is not what they are equipped to do. That is not what God called them to do. And we have found ourselves working hard on other people's gifts, working hard on other people's assignments because their assignment looks good on them. Their assignment looks good on them because that is what God equipped them to do. Your assignment will look just as good on you if you submit to that assignment. Uh, for example, right now, everybody either wants to be an entrepreneur or they want to be an influencer. Now, there are people that are gifted and equipped to be those things. God has already given them a gift of leadership. God has already blessed them with a spirit of organization, a spirit of discipline, a spirit of building, a spirit of vision. He has equipped them for that. And so that's what they're doing. They're building, they're being an entrepreneur. Influencers, God, for some of the influencers, not all influencers, but for some of it, people, they already had that influence. It was already there. There was this light that was in them that drew people to them, and it is translating over. And Some people are using that gift and that talent to bear witness to God's goodness, and that's great. But we have in our society where it looks easy to be an influencer and look at this entrepreneur, and the world is telling me that I should be an entrepreneur, and the world is telling me that if you don't grind, you don't shine, and the world is telling me to stop working for people and I can work for myself. And the world is telling me all these things. And while there are people that need to hear that message because there are entrepreneurs that are not tapping into their gift, there are also people that are not made and created to be entrepreneurs that are following that message, and they are getting off track, getting out of their gift, getting out of their assignment, and trying to be an entrepreneur. And this is where you have to pray for discernment, because there are some people that journey is not working out simply because the enemy is trying to attack them, or God is trying to build their character. But then there are some people where it's not working out because it is simply not what you're supposed to do. Everybody is not made to be an entrepreneur. Everybody is not made to be an influencer. Where are the people that are greeters at the store? Where are the people in agriculture to make sure that we have good and healthy food? Where are the craftsmen that have hands to build and to mold and to make? Where are the writers to give us books to read? Where are the people that are equipped to be educators? Where are the caretakers that are equipped to be nurses and doctors? Where are the people that study law and want to be lawyers and politicians? Like, we have different gifts and talents that God has equipped us for, because He wants us in certain spaces to witness to certain personalities. And we are chasing other people's assignments because the world is telling us we all need to be entrepreneurs. And that's not saying that you can't have a side hustle. That's not saying that you can't attempt it. But I'm just saying I see people putting their all into something, and I know that there's another gift inside of them that does not look like entrepreneurship. Everybody is not meant to be the head. We all make up different parts of this body of Christ. And why would I want to do something and work 10 times harder for something God never equipped me to do? Why would I want to spend my time doing things that God never asked me to do? But there is joy in doing what He has asked you to do, because He has already given you, one, the desire. He's already given you the natural skill and ability to do it. He has already ordered the steps in which you should do them. It's just you need to step into your lane and do it and figure out what that looks like. Also, on that same token, there are some of us that have these gifts, and we need to make sure that we are using them correctly for the kingdom, right? So, for example, I have a gift of words. I can speak, I can write, I can encourage. God, that is all of that is God, and He has equipped me. He's given me those gifts as a reflection of Him. But my mouth is so lethal, it can either build and encourage someone, or this thing can read somebody for filth. I don't want to do that other one. Okay, I don't want to do that one. I don't want to operate in that. I want to operate in the space where I'm uplifting and being positive and encouraging and leading people to Christ. Not the other one where it may give someone a good key. Like, I can get on here and say a lot of things. My mouth is clever. The words that God has given me to use, they are clever. But I have to be careful and honor Him with this gift and use it in the capacity in which He created me to use it. And so that's what I want to encourage you guys to do. What gifts and talents has He equipped you with? And how are you using those gifts and talents to honor Him? How are you using those gifts and talents to pour into his people and serve his people and make sure that his people are good during our time here on earth. That leads me to my last point, that everybody, not everybody, culture right now is telling us that purpose equals some type of monetary gain. And so what we have is people saying that this is their gift, this is what they're called to do, so that they can be blessed exceedingly and abundantly, all that they can ask, think, or imagine. They are believing God for bigger. They are believing God for all of this monetary success, fame, or power. And while God can give us those things, and there's nothing wrong with those things for those whom He called and trusted with those things, but we have to be careful to make sure that we're not operating in our gifts so that we can get those things, that we're not operating in our gifts so that God can bless us big and do big in our lives. It's not to say that He can't, it's not to say that He won't, but our heart posture needs to be that I am going to operate in my gift and do my gifts, whether it yields that or not. Okay. So, if you read the word, everybody in the Bible that was successful, as we would deem it in our culture, they never asked for it. They never asked to be successful. I'll take Solomon, for example. I will try to find this prayer because I was so enamored by it when I read it. But Solomon did not say, I am going to serve God's people so that God can make me the wisest man on earth and He can give me the biggest kingdom and all the material things um, that anybody has ever witnessed. That was not Solomon's heart posture. Solomon was scared to lead. Solomon was afraid, and he was afraid of doing the wrong thing. He was afraid of not leading the people the way that God wanted him to. And so God came to him, and Solomon was able to ask God for anything that he wanted. And Solomon asked God for the wisdom to lead his people right. And so God was like, you know what? You could have asked me for things. You could have asked me for the biggest kingdom. You could have asked me for the biggest influence. You could have asked me for anything, but you asked me to equip you to serve my people right, to lead my people correctly. And for that, not only will I make you wise enough to lead them, not only will I make you equip you to lead them, but I will bless you and make you the wisest man that ever walked the earth. I will expand your kingdom. I will give you the best influence. I will give you all of these things. But y'all, we have to understand that Solomon didn't ask for that. And Solomon wasn't leading the people so that he could get that. God gave him that because Solomon's sole purpose, or his heart posture, his thought process was, God is trusting me with this and I want to do good with this and I don't want to mess it up. That's that good and faithful servant. So when I told y'all last week that I didn't want to mess up the heart that He has created in me, this is what I'm talking about, because that changed my heart posture right there. I want that well done, my good and faithful servant. And so as I'm operating in my gifts and talents, and I'm honoring God through my gifts and talents, I want to do it so that I can store my treasures up in heaven. If God sees fit and trusts me enough to be a multimillionaire here in the land of the living, great. But if He wants me to just sit here and be a K through 12 educator and encourage people through this platform, this podcast, whether you're listening or watching on YouTube, and that's all He wants from me, great. You have to learn how to be content, like Paul says, in all areas. Pray for that peace that surpasses all understanding. But operate in your gifts, not to gain success, but to serve God with a pure heart. And so um, we need to be careful with seeing people be successful and say, oh, they are blessed because they're operating in their gift. And if I operate in my gift, I am going to be blessed with huge monetary things as well. Um, Monetary success doesn't always mean that somebody is operating in the gift that the Lord gave them. Let's not forget that the enemy offered God, the creator, as if he could give him anything, but manipulative, as told him, I will give you all of this world, all the things, all the riches, all the things in this earth, if you will bow down. If he would do that to the creator of all things, you think he's not out here trying to do the same thing to us? I'll give you this, and this, and that if you do this, if you walk out of your assignment, if you are distracted by what you can get on this earth, if you can try to do somebody else's thing so that you're not doing what God asked you to do. You think He's not out here still doing that? So we have to be put God first, pray, discern, operate in our gifts. It's nothing wrong with wanting to be comfortable here on earth. It's nothing wrong with wanting success. But if you are serving for success and success alone, then you're not serving God. But if you are serving to serve God and his people, but he may have given you the gift of planning and strategic planning and goal setting and all of that. All of that is gifts. You can do that. Just don't let that overpower or come before doing the work that God has created you to do, or the assignment, the people that he wants you to encounter, the people that he wants you to witness to in your assignment. And so as I get ready to um, close this episode, I just want to encourage us to use our gifts to honor God. You know, just like us as people, when we gift others, when we as parents gift our children on their birthday or on Christmas, or if you give a gift to a friend or your spouse or a coworker or a family member, and you see them using that gift, it is such a joy to witness. And so God is the same. He delights in us using our gifts. He delights in the good that we do here on earth. And it's like, I created them to do just that. And look, they're using it. I gave them this gift to write. And look at these books that they wrote. I gave them this gift to dance. And look how beautifully she dances. I gave him this gift to create art. And look at this beautiful art that he's drawn or painted. I gave her this gift to teach. And look how she's walking around this classroom. Like, uh, God is pleased when we do things. He's like a parent looking at us. He's our father looking at us. Look at them using the gifts that I gave them. And we have many. It's not like we have just one. That's why it's not one big purpose. This is my sole purpose. We have so many gifts. I have the gift of writing. I have the gift of creating. I have the gift of encouraging. I have the gift of teaching. I have the gift of photography. I have the gift of nurturing. God has blessed me with wisdom. It's so many things that he's blessed me with, and I'm going to operate in all of them. And every single thing is not meant for monetary gain. Maybe I just want a journal because I'm a writer and it feels good. Maybe I want to create a journal so that others can have the same feeling. Maybe I want to get in front of a camera and talk to people about the goodness of the Lord. And maybe I just want to put it out there because he equipped me to do this, and I just want to do it. Okay. So as I end off, I just want to tell you to stir up the gift, stir it up, honor God. We all have different parts. No part is more important than the other. The word speaks of that. Don't get so caught up in your gift that you think everybody's supposed to do your gift. Okay? Everybody's supposed to do their own gift. What is yours? And how are you serving God with it? That's this week's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. If this blessed you, feel free to share it with someone else. Where are your letters? I'm looking for listener letters, notes from you. If you have a situation or a scenario that you want me to pray over and give you feedback on, please write me, send me a DM, send me an email. Anything, just do it so I can get some notes from you and I can add to these episodes. If you don't have a situation that you need wisdom or advice over, give me a praise report. Tell me something good. I'm looking to shout out some businesses. If you want me to shout out your business is doing well. Shout out your classroom, you running for office. If there's something going on, like tell me something good. Like I want to put it out there for you. And yeah, we gonna do life together in this community. I pray y'all have a blessed week. I love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. It's an honor to come before y'all every week. And so I pray that you are blessed this week. I pray protection over you from danger seen and unseen. And I pray that you tap into your gift and you use it for the goodness of the Lord. Bye-bye.